Hello, Capricorn. This is your reading for the week of March 17th, or whenever you hear it and it resonates with you. Again, of course, this will not resonate with every Capricorn. So, Capricorn, as I started doing this reading and asking for guidance for what was good for you to hear today, what I was hearing was the phrase, what if? But it wasn't like, what if the sky was turquoise and the trees were green and lemony yellow? It was more, what if I thought differently? What if things weren't actually the way I believed they were? What if I changed my attitude on something? So it's definitely that kind of what if, which is really about self-reflection. And self-reflection, I feel specifically on how you have perceived yourself being treated by other people, and possibly even more specifically for some of you on how other people how the beliefs and opinions of other people have influenced you, and what if you changed that? What if you decided to not worry about it? Or what if you expected people would support you? Or what if you weren't afraid to challenge somebody on their ideals? So the feeling that I get with this, I saw the book The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, R-U-I-Z. And it's really a book it's based in ancient Toltec spirituality, but it's really talking about four things that we can agree to do on a regular basis to help break the illusions that we are letting interfere with our well-being and our perception of reality, okay? Accurate perception of reality. And one of them is take nothing personally. And then the very first card as I pull is, if we didn't take any of these behaviors personally, would we perceive them as betrayals? Okay, so I looked at that and I went, oh yeah, okay, so we really are on the right track today for whoever I'm reading for. And as I continue to pull these cards, I get this feeling that, Capricorn, you can be quite determined in your approach to things, especially when it comes to work. You are an earth sign, and therefore you can be very, I don't want to say rigid, but I will say, the negative things that are often said about earth signs, being one myself, not thrilled about it, being stubborn, being rigid, being, those are the two big ones, stubborn and rigid. But I don't see it as that in this case, although that can be taken to the extreme. It certainly can be that. But what I see this more as that you've had a certain operating structure in your life, certain beliefs that have dictated this is the way you are supposed to be. And you are supposed to be this way because it will get you this in terms of achievements, in terms of approval, in terms of that sense of self-value that comes from having done something, having achieved something. But what I see here is that many times it has not necessarily been something that has been enjoyable for you. That while there may have been a certain sense of comfort in having a place within that structure, you let it dictate a lot of your behaviors and a lot of your choices, coming from an ego perspective. Now, ego, please understand, I'm not talking about it in a negative way. We all need our ego. It is the structure through which we interface with the world. The difference is when we are totally focused on that and we forget to connect to our hearts, that's when it becomes or can become problematic. And that's when we are far more affected by the opinions and the attitudes of people around us. So Capricorn, what you're being asked to do here is to look at this and say, okay, what do you feel? What is going to make your life nicer, better? And is that valuable to you? Are you now looking at your life and saying, I've really worked hard and I've really been all this for these people. Now, what about me? Play is something that comes up for you. And play, I think this is really relevant for Capricorn, because play is talking about, in this context, it's fun, it's about laughter, it risks looking silly for the sake of enjoyment, and it doesn't worry about what the image is. And I feel like that's an energy you're being asked to consider in your life now. And is that going to be something that is going to actually make you feel better? Because I feel as though you've got this capacity to be far more creative than you've let yourself be, and really explore that energy of creativity, which really only comes when you move out of all that logical thinking and that must-do kind of attitude, and kind of move into that imagination and creativity, or that intuitive side of the brain, because that's all the same frequency. So you're being asked to really check in with, what are your feelings? And what emotions or attitudes have you just gone along with in order to stay within the status quo so you don't rock the boat? Okay? And it may just be not even rocking your own boat. It may not be about anybody else. This may be about you just now deciding that you want to challenge your own thoughts and your own questions and your own beliefs about what was relevant and important in life. You got the Grace card, which is really talking about, oh, there you go. You've got your structure card. Now, structure, in this context, structure is asking you to look at, well, I'm going to read it to you. Structure can be a support we gratefully lean on, or a cage which locks us in. Sometimes we're aware of having constructed them, and sometimes we mistakenly credit or blame others. Ha ha, here we go. Either way, we've made the choice, consciously or unconsciously, to be in the structures that define our lives and our relationships. When a support turns into a cage, be grateful. You've come to an edge of your personality structure, and now have the opportunity to redefine what works for you and why. You can be sure that you're bound for new growth and understanding. So that is going along exactly with what I've been feeling and what I've been picking up. What parts of your life now are no longer suiting you? How can you move out of worrying about what other people's opinions are? How can you not take personally any kind of attitude that comes at you when you decide you want to change your structure? Where can you lean into your creativity, your desire for play, your grace, compassion, and just really embrace those energies, grace, compassion, play, which are so much bigger and so much broader and so much softer and richer than a structure. And check in with what you feel in order to decide where that structure isn't working for you, where it could change. You're being asked to embrace your ability to choose and to let your choices be the thing that define the change, that define the change in your structure. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with that, Capricorn. I feel like this is very much a really positive reading, because it feels to me like you've come to a point where you can look at whatever structure you've got, whether it's in relationships, with family, friends, loves, work, spiritual organizations, doesn't matter. It could also only be within your own mind as you're assessing how you've thought, how you've lived, and how you've let it shape your life. Again, I really recommend The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Don't gossip, and always do your best. Those are just like, that's oversimplification of them. Very simple and very, very beautifully stated in a way that allows you to take it into real life and really understand how to look at your mind and start shifting how you use your mind for your own benefit. Okay? That's it, Capricorn. Have a great week.